My name is Sam Yankelevitch. Today I'm interviewing Dr. Charlie Barton. Dr. Barton uses her 30-plus years experience to partner with businesses to increase their profitability by helping organizational leaders make sure that the organization's systems and processes work for the company. After spending several decades in all kinds of industries, she saw the same problems and often the same ineffective solutions cropping up. She regularly speaks at the national and state level on topics of business excellence, problem solving, and quality. She's currently working on a book about the secrets followed by excellent companies. Dr. Barton volunteers as a senior examiner with the Arkansas Governor's Quality Award and as a SCORE mentor. Thank you for being on this program today, Charlie. And I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind. I'm very curious about some of the discussions we've had and some of your philosophies. So I'm going to go ahead and start. You were telling me the other day about your consulting philosophy in that small changes lead to big improvements. That sounds like a really good action plan. Can you share with me a bit more about some examples of effective small changes that you've seen clients as they put them in place?
Certainly, Sam. I feel that many people believe that change has to be big and dramatic, but change has to fit the way that you work and the destination that you desire. One of my clients found themselves responding to emails that asked pretty much the same thing time after time, but he always wrote a unique response because he felt that FAQs were totally impersonal and he didn't want our relationship to be soured with a static, go here and look it up yourself. What he did is create a unique template that he could customize with that person's name. And instead of having a robo result, he created a warm, personal template that he could use time and again to reach his clients. Another client found that at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, she needed some kind of checklist. She would go to her computer, she'd turn it on, and partway through she would say, oh, I have to check my email. And she'd turn on her email, or I have to go and do this. And she would turn on the programs. By the end of the day, she had so many programs open that she was not using that was bogging down her computer. And at night, she just simply closed everything down because she was tired and forgot to do her backups. With checklists, she only opened those programs that she needed to do the work for that day. And at the end of the day, she had those important file backups. And finally, I had another client who was extremely creative. He could not remember to record his mileage though. And his accountant and his partner were terribly frustrated. His partner would buy the little books from Staples that says record your mileage. They would put apps on his phone and nothing worked. Well, after talking with him and watching how he went through his day, every time he went to a new client, he checked his email. He could remember to record the mileage when he looked at his email. So he got into the habit of using email to send himself an email that said, I am at this place, I'm going to talk to this person, and my mileage is. The accountant was happy, the business partner was happy, and it was a fix that matched the way that he worked. He could still be creative and still have the information they needed to run their business effectively.
Very interesting. I like all those ideas. Very, very good. Very good. So Charlie, I'm seeing so much of the waste in processes today is hidden, because we use computers and all these other electronic tools. Is there a way to show people how to recognize this hidden waste?
Yes, there is. I feel that easy corrections have led to wasteful behaviors. However, it is not easy to hop off our mental expressway for a moment. It used to be that an error on an invoice had to be whited out and corrected. There was visible proof of an error. Today, we just backspace over the mistake and go on, or worse, we don't even catch the error because the fields are auto-filled. We don't realize that an error occurred until the client calls and asks about the invoice. If you would like a real-time example of some hidden waste, think about the time spent answering an email. The next time you send an email, stop and count how many times you backspace and delete words and phrases. It's actually much more productive to use templates for common types of emails. For answers that need to be customized, take a few minutes with a piece of scratch paper. I use a whiteboard, and it helps ensure that I cover the points that I need in my email response without having to backtrack and rearrange or accidentally leaving something out. To count those backspaces, just make a tick on a piece of scratch paper. And if you backspace 5 times, count that as 5 corrections. It's really easy to say there's absolutely no waste because there's no paper involved, there's nothing physical, but you are actually using the one resource that is totally non-renewable, time. Time is money. Money can be recouped in other areas of that organization. However, we can never refill that time bucket, Sam.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right about time. Never can recover it. That's very true. Charlie, I noticed that you don't have the traditional engineering background of most process improvement consultants. So has this been a plus in your work and a benefit for your clients?
My clients definitely feel that it's been a benefit for them in the work that I do. I come from a training and knowledge management background. Most business owners and managers are unaware or may only be slightly aware of things like the Baldrige Excellence Framework, Goldratt's Theory of Constraints, or Deming's System of Profound Knowledge. When consultants who are more engineering-based talk about these, it can be very intimidating for a client. They certainly don't want to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. And when they look at these things, they've probably thrown up their hands and said, these are things that are too hard to implement. Well, as a businesswoman, I understand scarce resources and organizational inertia. Things are good enough, and let's not rock the boat. This is where I can guide owners and managers in picking the tools and processes that fit the organization's culture and their way of working. Leaders can point to provable gains such as reduced waste, engaged employees, and best of all, profitability. As a businesswoman, I can show them the return on their investment before we even start.
I'm pretty sure you can, Charlie. You have a very good wide knowledge base. So, I'm hearing time and again in the media and publications about the effectiveness of stories and storytelling. And you have quite a different approach to storytelling as it relates to business excellence. What can you share about your approach? Can you illustrate, like with an example from one of your clients?
Certainly. Well, first of all, I listen to the stories that people are sharing about that situation. They have reasons for believing and acting as they do. During my research, I learned that people are biologically wired both to tell stories and to understand the world through stories. In daily life, stories don't come neatly packaged with a beginning, a middle, and an end. We make decisions and judgments on incomplete data, story fragments. And second, I observe what's going on. Does everyone's definition of key items like quality, customer service, and respect match from top to bottom, department to department? If not, all of the most eloquently written memos will not move the organization as a whole. I was documenting processes for a manufacturing client, and I asked an operator about the machinery that he was running. This gentleman could do things with the machine that had engineers scratching their head. He had excellent quality. He kept up production on a machine that probably shouldn't have been able to do those things. I wanted to know how he did it. How do you make this machine do it? Well, in the lunchroom, they've been talking about the work that I was doing, and the scuttlebutt, the rumors were that I was going to cause people to lose their jobs. He was not going to tell me how he was going to do something because he wanted to keep his job. And if I documented it, then somebody else could come in and do this. That wasn't the case at all. The machine was so old it was hard to find parts for it and other machines on the line. We had to replace the equipment, and I needed to know what he was doing so I can match him to a new machine, which is what I told him. It's like, dude, the machine's going away. You can talk to me, I can learn what you're doing, and I can put you on a new machine. Or you can not talk to me and have no machine. So it's the story he had told himself, the stories that were going around the lunchroom. And once I understood that he wasn't being combative or obstinate, he was just afraid of losing his job, we had a wonderful conversation. Sam, I guide owners and executives, managers, supervisors, and frontline support and production teams into not only being in the same book, but most importantly, being on the same page.
Very cool. So what are the next steps? Charlie, what are the next steps that people could take, and how might they reach you?
People can reach me by emailing Charlie at barton-consultingllc.com or visiting my website, barton-consultingllc.com. Sam, thank you so much for letting me share my passion about storytelling and business improvement.
Thank you for allowing this, Charlie. We'll catch up and hope to see you in another chapter.
We'll be there.
Bye.
Bye.